Now that you have communicated with your child and gotten as much insight as possible from them about any issues that they may have had with the testing, now it's time to move on to step number two, which is to communicate with your child's teacher. When you get ready to do this, however, there are some things that I suggest. The first one is to make sure that you are active and engaged with whatever communication system that your child's school has in place. Oftentimes, these communication systems will give you insight into the concepts that your child has been working on in the classroom. Sometimes they also will give you a heads up about what is coming next. Oftentimes, they are newsletters where you could find out, of course, about activities and things like that that are going on at your child's school. But oftentimes, this is the first stop and the first step in finding out what has been happening, because hopefully, your child's individual teacher is also communicating through that system. So, if you haven't become engaged in whatever your school has set up, that is the first thing that you should do, and go through whatever information is there and available to you. As you're looking at it, if you feel like there's information missing and things that you wish that they would put on that site, then make a note of that and take those things to the first meeting with your teacher. After you've done that, then you are going to want to send an email to your child's teacher. And I have several recommendations about how to approach that and things that you can do that actually will make it a lot easier for the teacher to respond with the information that you need and make it a lot more likely that they will do that quickly. The first one is to copy the administrator on the email that you are sending to the teacher. This is actually a really good step because it involves the administrator at the very beginning, and some of the questions that you may have might be better answered by the administrator or someone on the office staff. So when the administrator can see that, they're aware of your concerns and what is going on. And this actually, in my opinion, eliminates one of the steps that might be necessary for the teacher, which is to go to the administrator and inform them. So you're just doing that right out of the gate. The second thing that I suggest that you do is be very mindful of the fact that your child's classroom teacher is dealing with multiple students. And classrooms right now in today's public schools are full of students. So anything that you can do in that email that will be respectful of that teacher's time and make it easier and more timely for the teacher to respond to you, that's going to get you a response much quicker. One of those things is I do not ask open ended questions. Open ended questions require the teacher to spend a lot of time detailing, writing in sentence form, writing paragraphs. And a lot of times, teachers honestly just don't have time to respond or respond thoroughly to those kinds of emails. Instead of saying something like, what is happening with my child and why are they falling behind, which is an open ended question, ask a closed question. And an example of that would be, which of the following concepts is my child struggling with? For example, in math, you may say, was it the multiplication facts? Are they struggling with the multiplication process? Um, if it's a behavioral thing, you may ask, if my child is not understanding, is the problem that they are too far back and maybe they cannot hear you? Are they paying attention in class? Are they being attentive? Those are closed questions which allow the teacher to give you information with a simple yes or no answer. And teachers are very likely to respond to those emails in a timely manner because they can do that very, very quickly. So if you do that work and you ask closed questions instead of open questions, you're being very respectful of that teacher's time. And the last thing I strongly recommend that you do is towards the end of your email, actually thank the teacher for the time that they are going to take to answer your questions. Also, I would suggest at this point that you request a meeting and you give specific days and times that you're available and ask them to choose one of those options. That's the first step in communication with your teacher. And hopefully, if you do those things, you'll get a quick response and you'll be able to go in with a one on one meeting with the teacher and resolve some of the things that may have caused your child's test scores to be lower than you would like for them to be.